So after a crazy recruiting weekend for the Sooners, they landed not one, but two big-time commitments out of the weekend that I feel like moves the needle in the right direction. So let's dive into these latest commitments. Matthew Nelson out of Bryant, Arkansas, and Noah Best out of Texas. Two big ones, and it sounds like Oklahoma has at least two more coming in the next coming days. So let's dive into that. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. So, Hayes Fawcett, from On3, who does all the graphics for all of the commitments, dropped a tweet earlier today, and he had basically Boomer, the pony, and he had ×3. And he had the Brent Venables gift going on. Now you can see it here, the picture on the screen. And so, of course, prompt the questions. Did Oklahoma land some commitments? Did Oklahoma get some good news? And yeah, Oklahoma did. Now, the first commitment, Matthew Nelson, we'll talk about him in a second and why I think he's going to be pretty big and impactful. He committed before Hayes dropped this. So he committed yesterday after the visit weekend, Sunday, actually right after me and Coop finished streaming is when he dropped his commitment. So we'll look at him, we'll look at film and talk about that. But then Noah Best dropped his commitment right after Hayes dropped his pony ×3. So that means there's at least two more coming. And I have an idea. We'll talk about that. So stick around. I'll tell you who that is a little at the end after we go over these two players. So first and foremost, let's take a gander at the latest commitments and what it means for this class. First up on the list, Matthew Nelson. Now, Matthew is not the most coveted dude yet. He's a 3-star over at Rivals. Nobody else has him ranked yet. He's ranked in the 50s at the edge, so he's a late bloomer. But what he is he's kind of a tweener, but at the same time, he has the body build of a player that has a very, very high ceiling if he hits his development potential. 6'5", 215 pounds right now. But when you see him move, in which we'll play some film in a second, looks a heck of a lot bigger than what I even thought out there. Plus, the dude looks like he's going to be able to fill out beautifully. And as long as he, like I said, hit the weights hard, needs a development, I think that Matthew has a chance of, being something for the Sooners. But when you watch the tape, I think the big thing that jumped out to me in watching him was dude's got a motor and he does not stop going. That's probably the most important thing, right? As we have seen over the last couple of years in the recruitment, Oklahoma has been going after specific type of players, dudes with high motor, dudes that don't stop, dudes that really get after it. And I have an understanding of why. You're going to need players like this in order to be able to survive in the SEC. You're going to need dudes that are going to work their tails off and also got NFL traits and measurables. Like I'm going to say 6'5", edge. Imagine him getting up to 240, 250 and becoming just a terrorist out there at the edge jack potential linebacker spot. That's something that I think he has the capabilities of. And that was the one thing I saw when I watched the film. Like when he gets in between players, he gets up, busts his tail, and he's boom, right after immediately. He's not one that stops on a play. It's just mad dash, mad effort. And to me, that's probably the most critical trait to have on this team. Brent Venables wants hard workers, and we've seen the defense he's put together. We know that this coming season is probably going to be his best defense here at Oklahoma since his first stint. And so now he's got to fill up the cupboard with not only a combination of elite talent, which I'm hearing some elite talents following, but you've also got to get some really good development players. And this is where the Jim Nagy effect comes in. You're looking for those dudes that are the diamond in the rough, the ones that others aren't really looking at, ones that others aren't really paying attention to. And this, to me, was a big pickup because not only him coming out of Bryant, Arkansas, same school as Ja'Cory Smith, I think he's one that they saw at that point. They're like, oh, okay, well, there's, Ja'Cory. Hey, I like this kid. Bring him over to camp. He camped in, looked really good. And again, he has those really long arms, long legs, strong. he's got all the measurables that could lead him to potential NFL talent. It's basically the point. So if the hard work follows with the effort that we're seeing in these videos, think that Matthew has a good chance of being something. So let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I know he's not the big splash that a lot of you are begging for all the time, but you have to understand that's kind of the value of having a guy, like I said, like Jim Nagy. He's going to get you dudes that are really here and be really good diamond development players on top of getting you some elite talent. Believe me, you're going to see some big names pop up on the list over the next couple of days. Promise you that. So keep your eyes open on that component. All right. Next up, we got the offensive lineman, which thought this pickup is huge. Noah Best. I expected it, not going to lie, because I saw the crystal balls go in the future cast coming over the last few days. And he did a visit to Kansas State last week. And so, of course, Noah, he's out of Texas. I'm not even going to pronounce the name of the city because I haven't practiced it before this video. But 6'4", 295. He is a consensus composite 4-star, 3 on most sites. Rivals has him a 4, top 400 player in the country. And he's a big boy. Like I said, 6'4", 295, interior offensive lineman. So you're building on the interior. Gives me some of the Heath Ozida type of feels or whatnot. And to me, Heath still being young, as long as he gets stronger, man, he's going to be something. We saw Heath out there holding his own in the SEC all last year, especially when the offensive line was dealing with injuries. But Noah's going to give you another young, really good player to have in the class overall. And I love this quote here. This is what he said. Coach B is the best O-line coach in college football. If you want to play at the next level, that was the deciding factor. That's why he picked Oklahoma. Also, shout out to Bill Bedenbaugh. Look at him. He looked like he thinned up. He even gotten that Schmitty workout. He looks good. But Noah Best is another massive pickup for what Oklahoma's trying to do. And On 3 has him listed at 305. But his list of schools was also pretty good. A lot of schools were going after Noah Best. So the question for us was, okay, who's going to end up winning in services? I mean, he had some SEC squads. He had, A&M, Texas, Ole Miss. He also had, LSU, Missouri, Texas Tech, who's been spending a lot of money lately to get kids. He had them all on his list. But when you watch the tape, dude's a mauler. He's just going to run through everybody. Knock dudes down. Yeah. If there's a player that you want in the trenches with you, I think Noah Best is one of those. I like this tape. I've gone through it a couple of times and just look, I'm happy. He was one that I was hoping we could have closed a while ago. I'm just glad that we got him now. That was what's most important to me, is that we did seal the deal and we got him. And at his size, man, you move him around, but dude, imagine him, 6'4", right there in the interior. He's playing tackle right now in the high school rank, but he gets there. He gets to the linebackers. He gets them down. So, plus he provides that additional effort, the big effort, as we talk about all the time. He's chasing dudes down. He's going to do everything. He's going to put his body on the line. Not a lot of kids do that. And those are some of those traits that you honestly can't teach. It requires a player to want to do that. So I like the Noah Best component. Bill Bedenbaugh is, of course, he's been on fire with his offensive line recruiting. Don't worry, there's more on the line coming as well. Add him, Will Conroy. 16 class is going to shape out well. So let me know what y'all think on Noah Best. Hop in the comments. Want to hear your thoughts. All right, we've got some more coming down the line. So I said I'm going to talk about it. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave y'all hanging. So y'all sticking around. Going to talk about some other players I'm thinking is coming down the line because we got some crystal balls. One, Josh McCuistion dropped in one from On 3's Sooner Scoop. He put him in for Tavian Branch, the big defensive lineman, 6'3.5", 300-pounder out of Taylor, Pennsylvania. He dropped it in, especially because Branch was talking to Chad Simmons at On 3 about how much he enjoyed Oklahoma and how they're at the top of his list. It's between Oklahoma and Rutgers now, and it sounds like Oklahoma's most likely going to win his pledge. and he commits on the 11th, which is Wednesday. Yeah, this video is coming out super late, mainly because I've been traveling again. But, hey, wanted to get something out to y'all to talk about this. Another one that I'm looking at, Tyler Ruxer out of Indiana, the top tight end there, 6'4", 220. Me and Coop talked about him on the show. I think that he ends up making the move to Oklahoma. And Oklahoma also got a crystal ball from got a prediction from Josh. Josh put in 3. He threw in this one for Tyler Ruxer. He's also threw for linebacker Braxton Lindsey. Now, Braxton Lindsey, first off, if y'all know JP from the JP and Trav show, he knows Braxton Lindsey, and he talks about him a lot. I don't expect this one to happen anytime soon. I think that he's going to take his visit to BYU, which is coming up. If I'm correct, he is Latter-day Saints. So that one's going to be a battle for Oklahoma. They're going to have to figure out a way to close the deal there, but I do like Oklahoma's chances with him. So, yeah, man, keep your eyes open. And I think that we may get a couple more defenders on top of the ones I mentioned. This isn't it. Oklahoma's had some momentum from this past weekend. And I'm sensing, not even outside of Tavian Branch, you may see something from, some other top 200 players that may go ahead and get their name out there and get their name in the class so way they can solidify their spot now that the house settlement's done and everybody's trying to figure out what's next. So let me know what y'all think. Want to hear it from you all. All right. Drop this video. Appreciate y'all pulling up. We'll get back on track. Oklahoma's front office has now been solidified and done. Got a video coming out for that tomorrow. We'll talk about what this front office is going to look like going forward with Jim Nagy and honestly what my thoughts on the plan is. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, and the bell notification so you don't miss any of those. Also, Coop did a video with Brian Harris, the recent commit. Go check that out as well. You'll see it in one of the videos in front of you because it's one of those that are worth your time. Kid's pretty good. All right, we'll chop it up soon.